So you clicked on this video because you've been wondering to yourself, is it possible for me to start an online mixing and recording business? Yes, it's totally possible. I've been doing it for several years, so that's what I wanted to talk about to you guys today here on GarageBand and Beyond. This is something that I've been doing for several years now. I record on people's songs, I mix people's songs, I master people's songs. For anyone who's curious about having me do that, check out my website, garagebandandbeyond.com. There's a mixing inquiries page there with all the details on having me do work for you. But yeah, I wanted to give you guys a few different ideas about how to start your own business online, revolving around your little home recording studio, because this is a great way for a lot of you guys. I would assume you're not gonna like turn this into like your sole source of income, but as supplemental income, this is something you can totally do. Now, the first thing I wanna mention out there is that the easiest client base to find is beginners, right? So you might not end up with some of the best songs or the best performances and stuff, but there are beginners out there that really do need help. So one of the ideas I want to give you guys is to focus on a DAW. So whatever your DAW may be, that is one way that you can sort of narrow your field down. If you mix on Logic, you don't want to tell people, I will take Pro Tools or GarageBand or whatever, you know what I mean? Well, GarageBand, sure, but Logic or Studio One or something, you can't take those files and mix them on that DAW, right? You would have to take stem files, which totally works. However, whole point of what I'm saying is understand what DAW you're really great at, assuming you're here because you're using GarageBand, right? So GarageBand might be your thing. That's what I focus on, and I've found that it works really nicely because beginners are the people that really need the most help. More professional musicians and stuff who are good in their studios don't need help from other musicians making their song sound better. In most cases, they've already figured out how to do that. So the beginners out there are really the people who need the help. Now, this brings me to an idea that I'm just going to share with you guys that I don't see a lot of people doing, and something I'm not planning on doing, which is to start mixing for people who use GarageBand iOS, okay? If you find that you are really, really good at that, then maybe that's what you should be focusing on. If you're great at using it on the iPad or the phone or whatever, maybe that's something you could focus on, because right now I don't see a ton of people doing that, and I do see that as a void in the business. I have personally thought about, should I set up an iOS studio and mix on iOS, but regular GarageBand business is really, really good. You guys have been really awesome, and so thank you. If you are watching this video and I've mixed and played for you, thank you. That's awesome. So that's it. Okay, so you got to find out what you're really good at, right? Okay, so what DAW you're good at, number one. Number two is there a style of music that you're particularly good at mixing? Well, then that's what you want to focus on at the beginning. Now, of course, you don't want to limit yourself to genres if you don't have to. I love every kind of music. I listen to every kind of music, so I have the ability to mix pretty much any kind of music. Some are harder than others, but in general, I can get you pretty much all the way there with any kind of music. However, that isn't the case for anyone. So you do want to figure out, I'm really great at mixing rock. I'm really great at mixing country or rap or hip hop or whatever it may be. So that is the thing you need to focus on, your audience in that genre of music, okay? So you're gonna go to every Facebook page, every Instagram page, and you're gonna start hitting them with your demo reel, which you probably, hopefully have, right? And we will talk about a demo reel a little bit later in this video. But yeah, you need to start networking already. Before you even start this business, become a component of those forums online that are available. Become a player in them. Become someone who's popular in them. Comment a lot. Give advice a lot. Don't be crappy ever, there's a way to do this, and definitely being nice online is always going to be better. Now, don't judge that by my Monday video this week. I know I upset a lot of people this last Monday. Sorry. That's not something I'm going to apologize for. Anyway, so now we've talked about, find out what DAW you're good at, choose your genre. Now you're going to start your actual online stuff, okay? Of course, you probably want a Facebook page. Of course, you want an Instagram account. Of course, you do need a little website. A basic one-page website can go a long way. If it's got to be 2 pages, that's not difficult to create either. I really like using Wix. I use Wix for many of my websites. there's lots of options, but I do like Wix, and I'm not sponsored or anything by Wix. I just like Wix. So you got to get your online presence a little bit organized first. That will be key, because once people start searching for you, the more established you are online, the better it is for you. The more your clients will think, wow, this guy's actually relatively established and has some, people working with him and stuff, or her. So, you want to make sure that when people do go to look for your material, because that's what's going to happen. They're going to be like, all right, you mix songs for people. Let me hear your demo reel, which brings me to the demo reel. Okay, so you can put up music wherever you want. Maybe not MySpace, but because people will probably laugh at you. Mine's on Reverb Nation, which I think is relatively ridiculous, but it totally works for me. When I started that page years and years ago, there wasn't as many options, and it hadn't sort of solidified down to Spotify yet. Plus, whatever, Reverb Nation is a Philadelphia thing. So I use Reverb Nation. That is where my demo reel is. If you're curious about it, just go to Reverb Nation and look up Garageband and Beyond. You'll find my demos there. But that's what you need. That's pretty much self-explanatory. It's a demo. People need to hear your work. Okay. So the other thing that I do want to talk about is, do you need to legitimately set yourself up as a legal business entity? Now, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an accountant, I'm just a professional musician, professional producer who's been doing this for a long time. So I will say that I have spent several years of my life where I had, before this business turned into something that I really did need to start registering with the government and the IRS and all that kind of stuff. But I pretty much put the cap on it. Like, once this business here, once Garageband and Beyond started making somewhere in the neighborhood of $2,000 a month from mixing, that's when I was like, okay, I really need to start legitimizing the income flow through this business. So now I have a business license and all that kind of stuff for it. And obviously my taxes do have to reflect this income. However, that was my personal cap, right? Was around that $2,000 mark. I probably could have done it around $1,500. So let's say this, if you are making, under $1,000 a month doing this, don't worry about registering it. Just keep doing it as like an independent contractor kind of thing. You can get away with a lot these days, or you've always been able to. In the music industry, laws are even changing right now for musicians and artists. The tax laws in the United States are changing. And from what I've seen, according to last year, it's actually becoming a little bit better. I don't really like saying that because, anyway. So, point is that you do need to legitimize yourself as a legal entity if you start making whatever number in your head. I'm going to just say $1,500. $1,000 a month is probably a safe bet. You should probably start registering your business with the government. Hey guys, I was just sitting here editing the video and realized I left something pretty important out, which is how to rate your services, right? How much to charge people for your mixing and mastering services. So I want to start this with an example, which is, have you ever gone out there looking for mixing and mastering services and seen those people who charge like $10 or $25 for a mix? Have you ever used them? I don't know. Whenever I see that, or like over on Fiverr or whatever, Fiverr.com, if you ever see people like, I'll mix your song for $5, you can give it a shot for $5. I think $25 is too much money to get a bad mix on and like deal with someone who's, I don't know. This number is an important figure, and it's important for you to realize sort of the way people work a little bit with their money, and especially musicians and people who are beginners and recording on GarageBand. There's a lot of like, is this worth it kind of feeling. So for me, what I had to figure out was, where's that number that is expensive, kind of expensive, but also affordable, right? So like, yeah, I could spend that. It wouldn't be like great to get a bad mix back, but it wouldn't be the end of the world. But also that number sort of, it just, that little bit of like, oh no, they expect more out of you, and when you deliver on that, they come back super, super happy. And it's just sort of it's human nature, and money, and people who don't have a lot of money and who are beginners, it's tough out there. I understand. I mean, I'm definitely, not like living in a mansion or anything like that, So whole point of this is that you need to figure out what is the comfortable price range for you, right? What is that number for you? But also understand that if you're good at this, right, and you are good at engineering and recording and all this stuff, you deserve to be compensated properly for your work, and there is no doubt about that. So don't undervalue your services. I can't stress that enough because it really just doesn't come across well, especially if you've gone through the trouble of making a website and a Facebook page and maybe a YouTube channel or whatever, done all this work, and then the price is like $25. People are gonna just be like, this isn't gonna be good. I that's the way I feel about it, at least. And maybe you guys have had better luck than other people, but I've heard nightmares about it. So that's it. So back to the regular video. Bye. Okay, so that's the sort of business end that's scary to a lot of people, and I know a lot of guys don't even do it and they just take it all in under the table, but there's actually real benefits, especially when it comes to tax season, real benefits to having your business registered. And I mean, the amount of money I was able to save last year by writing off so many things was pretty amazing. So I will say that piece of tax code changing has made it a little bit more, interesting to actually register your company. Okay, so I don't want to go on too long about that. So the point is that there's plenty of people out there who want these services. You're just trying to figure out how to find them, right? So now you've got your website and your Twitter page and all your online stuff is rocking and looking good and sounding good, and you got your demo page, right? Now you got to go around and dig up clients. So the first thing you're going to need to do is my least favorite suggestion I'm going to give you. You're going to need to record people for free. This is just the way it is. I'm sorry, but this is the way it is. I hate telling people to work for free. I really do. But you need to build a reel, right? You need to build a catalog of artists and a catalog of music. That way your demo isn't just you singing your songs. The more people that come through, the more clients like looking at that list of, previous clients are like, wow, he's done a lot of work for a lot of people. This is interesting. So find your creative friends. Offer them free recording services. It's a great day. It's always fun to work with your friends, and it's pretty easy in general, especially if you're just doing like acoustic guitar and voice and stuff like that. That's always a great way to come up with material for demos. A lot of people record acoustic guitar and voice and don't know how to mix it, right? And I would assume a lot of people are doing that on their iPhones and their iPads, which I don't see a lot of people offering mixing services for. I might be totally shooting myself in the foot by not taking this iOS suggestion, but honestly, regular old GarageBand has been so good. There's plenty of clients out there for me to record and mix songs for. So, you guys, whoever's the smart one to really take this iOS idea and run with it, you could definitely make some money doing this if you do it right. I'm going to say this, though. This is the recording business. We know it's up and down, but I see myself working a lot more consistently than I do my friends who own like really big recording studios. I don't see those guys working as much as they used to in the old days because of guys like me and because of the fact that we can all record at home right now. That has totally changed the big studio game. Unless you're one of those really well-established studios that people know and love, and you're in a market where you're not saturated with other studios, you can do it, but it's an uphill climb for the little guy and the big guys, right? I think the hill's a little less steep for guys like you and me who are trying to do this out of home because we can reach a wider audience by using the internet, right? And we don't need people to come into our studio. You can just send us mixes and we'll mix it, right? Anyway, the whole point of this is that, as a small studio owner at the beginning, you have to network like crazy for a couple of years. And it's really hard work, super, super fun because you get to hang out with more people than you usually do. At least in my case, when I was really trying to get the business going. I would go to all the local things in Philadelphia. They have all sorts of recording studio meet and greets and stuff. That was okay. You just end up hanging out with a lot of other studio owners, but at least you sort of get on the map on your local scene. The other place to go find good artists to record, open mic nights. Those are amateur guys usually, who don't have a record contract, or sometimes in some cases they don't even have a band, So you could be like, I can play the bass and I can add drums and I can add keyboards all on your iOS project. They might be totally into that. You never know. But you got to put yourself out there. You got to talk to people. But unfortunately, you're going to have to record some songs for very free at the very beginning. But that's it pretty much. I think, if you get your online thing together, you're really good at networking and marketing and stuff like that. And there's so many tutorials about how to be good at marketing online for any small business. There's plenty of tutorials out there. It really just boils down to going out there, being active on as many Facebook pages as you can, especially in the beginning, or social media sites, not just Facebook. Just being out there, being active, being positive, showing examples of your work, narrowing down your field a little bit will definitely help you focus in on what groups to focus on when you're trying to find clients, all that kind of stuff. Really, this might be like total no-brainer information, but I thought putting it all in one video together would be a good idea for you guys. So I think that covers pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. Again, don't forget, if you do want me to record, play, or mix and master your songs, Garagebandandbeyond.com is the place to find the details for that. It's pretty affordable. If you're one of my patrons, you do get discounts on mixing at a certain rate. You will find that in my rewards on my Patreon page, which I don't link to anymore because YouTube punishes us for making you leave YouTube. So stay here on YouTube, but when you're done on YouTube, check out my Patreon page, patreon.com/GarageBandandBeyond. That is the sole reason this channel is surviving and growing now. The studio here is about to change dramatically in the next couple of weeks. I'm so excited about that. Anyway, you guys have a fantastic day. Get to mixing and recording and mastering and have fun, have fun, have fun, have fun. Peace.